The Diary That Knew Tomorrow. Ethan Cole never believed in signs. He didn't believe in destiny, horoscopes, or the idea that the universe had a plan for anyone. Life, as far as he was concerned, was a series of choices and accidents stitched together by luck and consequence. You studied hard, you worked hard, you hoped things worked out. That was it. That was before the diary. It started on a Thursday evening, the kind that felt forgettable before it even began. Rain tapped lightly against the windows of Ethan's small apartment in Portland, Oregon. The sky was the color of old newspaper, and the air inside smelled faintly of coffee and dust. He had just returned from his job at the public library, dropping his keys into the chipped ceramic bowl by the door. The apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant siren of a passing ambulance. He was halfway to the couch when he noticed something on the kitchen table. A notebook. That was strange because Ethan was obsessive about clutter. He didn't leave notebooks lying around. And this one wasn't familiar at all. He stepped closer. The cover was dark blue, almost black, with no title. No brand logo. Just a smooth, slightly worn surface, like it had been handled many times. It looked old, but not antique, like it belonged to someone who took care of it. He picked it up. It felt heavier than it should have, as if it held more than paper. Okay, he muttered to himself, glancing around the empty apartment. Very funny, whoever broke in to leave me a notebook. But nothing else seemed disturbed. The door was locked. The windows were closed. No signs of forced entry. Curiosity outweighed caution. He opened the diary. The first page was blank except for a single line, written neatly in black ink. Ethan Cole, please read carefully. His stomach tightened. He flipped the page. Friday, March 14th. You will wake up late and skip breakfast. At 9:17 a.m., your phone will buzz with a message from your sister. You will ignore it at first. You shouldn't. Ethan stared at the page. He checked the date on his phone. Thursday, March 13th. He let out a short, nervous laugh. Okay, cute prank. Someone from work, maybe? A friend? But no one had been in his apartment. And even if they had, how would they know such specific details about his morning routine? He closed the diary and set it back on the table. He told himself not to think about it. That night he slept poorly. The first prediction. Ethan woke to the sound of his alarm screaming like an accusation. He squinted at his phone. 9:02 a.m. Damn it, he groaned. He had overslept. He rushed out of bed, throwing on a hoodie and jeans, skipping breakfast entirely as he scrambled to brush his teeth. He was halfway through tying his shoes when his phone buzzed. A text from his sister, Maya. Maya. Hey, can you call me when you have a minute? He froze. Slowly, he looked at the kitchen table. The diary sat exactly where he had left it. He walked toward it like someone approaching a live wire, each step careful, deliberate. He opened it again to the same page. You will wake up late and skip breakfast. At 9:17 a.m., your phone will buzz with a message from your sister. You will ignore it at first. You shouldn't. The time on his phone changed to 9:17. His pulse thundered in his ears. This was coincidence. It had to be. Still, with fingers that suddenly felt clumsy, he hit the call button. Hey, Maya said, sounding relieved. I was hoping you'd pick up. What's going on? He asked. There was a pause. I didn't want to freak you out, but Mom's been in the hospital since last night. It's her heart. They're keeping her for observation. The air seemed to leave his lungs. What? She's stable, Maya added quickly. But I thought you should know. He swallowed hard. Yeah, of course. I'll come by after work. They talked for a few more minutes, but Ethan barely registered the conversation. His mind was spinning. When he hung up, he turned slowly back to the diary. The page had not changed, but the meaning had. You shouldn't ignore it. Not because he'd missed the message, but because it mattered. He stood there for a long time staring at the pages like they might blink back. Proof. Over the next few days, the diary continued. Every morning, a new entry appeared. Not in front of him. He never saw the words form, but when he opened it, there they were, written in the same neat handwriting. Some predictions were small. You will spill coffee on your shirt before noon. You will overhear a conversation that makes you laugh on the bus. You will forget a password you use every day. Each one came true. Others were stranger. You will meet someone new at 4:42 p.m. on Wednesday. This person will matter more than you expect. You will dream of a place you've never been. And then there were the ones that made his chest tighten. You will witness an argument that will change how you see someone you trust. You will be given a choice you are not ready for. Ethan began carrying the diary everywhere, tucked into his backpack like a secret he couldn't put down. He read it obsessively, trying to predict his days before they happened. At first, it felt like a superpower. He used it to avoid inconveniences. If the diary said he'd miss the bus, he left earlier. If it said he'd lose his keys, he checked his pockets constantly. But the diary didn't change. Even when he tried to act differently, the outcome stayed the same. If the diary said he would miss the bus, something always intervened. A shoelace breaking. A neighbor stopping him in the hallway. A sudden downpour that slowed him down. The future, it seemed, resisted him, and that terrified him. The girl from 442 Wednesday arrived faster than he expected. He checked the diary before work. You will meet someone new at 4:42 p.m. This person will matter more than you expect. He spent the entire day on edge. 4:42 p.m. found him standing at the bus stop, rain misting the air. People came and went. No one looked particularly significant. He checked the time again. 4:41. Then someone bumped into him. Sorry, a voice said. He turned. She had dark hair pulled into a messy bun, glasses slightly crooked on her nose, and paint smudged faintly on her sleeve like she'd forgotten to wash it off. She was holding a sketchbook under one arm. It's fine, he said automatically. She smiled, quick and warm. You look like you're waiting for something important. He hesitated. What makes you say that? You keep checking your phone like it's going to give you life-changing news. He let out a surprised laugh. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm Lena, she said, offering her hand. Ethan. They shook. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He didn't need to check the time. He already knew. Consequences. As weeks passed, the diary's entries began to change in tone. They weren't just observations anymore. They were warnings. You will hurt someone without meaning to. You will lie because it feels easier than the truth. You will be tempted to use this knowledge selfishly. The worst one appeared on a Sunday morning. You will try to change something you shouldn't. He read that line over and over again. What does that even mean? He whispered. He had grown closer to Lena. They met for coffee, for walks, for long conversations about art and books and everything in between. She didn't know about the diary. He couldn't bring himself to tell her. How could he explain something that still felt impossible to himself? His mother recovered slowly. His relationship with his sister improved. His life, in many ways, seemed better than it had been in years. And that was the problem. He started to depend on the diary. He stopped making decisions without consulting it first. He stopped trusting himself. The page that broke everything. One night, unable to sleep, Ethan opened the diary again. A new entry had appeared. Not dated. Just a single paragraph. You will lose Lena, not because of fate, but because of fear. You will push her away before she has the chance to stay. And you will tell yourself it was inevitable. His hands trembled. No, he whispered. That's not happening. He flipped the pages forward, hoping for clarification. For something, anything, that suggested it could be avoided. But the pages after were blank. For the first time since the diary appeared, there was no future written. Only silence. Choice. The next day, he met Lena at their usual cafe. She studied him across the table. You've been weird lately. Define weird, he said, trying to smile. Distant. Like you're always somewhere else. Like you're waiting for something to happen instead of actually being here. He swallowed. I'm just dealing with some stuff. She nodded slowly. You don't have to tell me everything, but I'd like to feel like you trust me. The diary's words echoed in his head. You will push her away before she has the chance to stay. He realized something then. The diary wasn't predicting the future. It was reflecting him. The more he believed in it, the more he surrendered his choices to it. The more he became exactly the person it described. The future wasn't fixed. He had been fixing it himself. He took a breath. There's something I need to tell you, he said. And for the first time since the diary appeared, he chose to act without knowing what would happen next. Epilogue. Months later, the diary lay closed in a drawer. It hadn't shown a new entry since the day Ethan stopped consulting it. Sometimes, late at night, he wondered if it would ever write again. But he no longer felt the urge to check. Life had become uncertain again. And that uncertainty, terrifying, beautiful, unpredictable, felt more like freedom than any prophecy ever could.